Hey everyone, Teddy here. Before we start episode 7 of Super Mega Riftbound, just want to let you guys know that there was a little video corruption during the recording process, so we don't have all of the segments we had planned out for this episode, but it's still an amazing episode. Just wanted to give you guys a heads up if there's any awkward cuts throughout the episode, that's why. Yeah, without further ado, enjoy episode 7.
Hey, welcome back to the Super Mega Riftbound Podcast. Episode 7 is coming your way. We got a lot to talk about. Stay tuned.
The first segment we have is our Riftbound news. Obviously, we got a lot of stuff with Spirit Forged releases, or pre-releases. What is the freaking word?
The pre-releases for Spirit Forged.
Yes, I guess that. Yes, the
pre-release events.
Yeah,
pre-release events, but we also got pre-orders is what I'm looking for.
Spirit Forged.
But before we get to that, we're gonna talk about some erratas we got. We have a bunch of erratas from Spirit Forged. These don't affect us as much right now because obviously it's not out yet in the US and the rest of the world, but it will in a little bit, in about a month or so. But we have two big erratas that come in Origins and in Falling Star and Acathian Rain, where they've walked back the reflexive triggers. Now, I wanted to open it up to you guys. David, I'll let you go first. Kind of thoughts on how these work now that it's different than what we've had, and they've kind of been messing around with how these actually work overall.
Yeah, absolutely. So as someone who has played some Kaisa, I can say definitively that this is a huge blow to Kaisa in the meta, and it will definitely shake up the meta, at least for this last month before Spirit Forged releases. The way these cards function now is totally different from how they did before. Not being able to react, mid-trigger, like mid-chain, is very impactful. Now Falling Star is similar to like Singularity in a way, where it's like the damage is being dealt simultaneously. A lot of people have been saying this, but huge buff to set, right? Because now you can't like ping sets a unit twice and have it die and then have it die a second time. Same thing with Zanya's, like Zanya's become stronger. And then once Spirit Forge rolls around, of course, not so fast, can now be used against Falling Star and against Acathian Rain. So yeah, huge blow to Kaisa players everywhere, and really red decks that want to run Falling Star as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. And the fact that it's no longer a reflexive trigger also means you have to target up front for all of whatever you are targeting for the spell, meaning you have to pay deflect on activation for these spells, which is a huge deal, especially going into Spirit Forge where a lot more units have deflect. But we've seen deflect be printed on units that are already statted appropriately for the cost that they're at. So with it being pretty on rate to play these deflect units, now Falling Star and Acathian Rain really fall behind the curve, in my opinion, on being as impactful as they were in this set 1. So we might see Kaisa dip down just a little bit before we get into Spirit Forged here, especially because these changes are going into effect immediately. This is not just the Spirit Forged change. At your locals tomorrow, should you go, they will no longer be reflexive triggers. And I think it's important to talk about as well, they didn't take reflexive triggers out of the game. I see a little bit of misinformation being spread around that online on Twitter and stuff like that. Reflexive triggers are still in the game. Dragon's Rage, for example, the Lee Sin signature spell, is still a reflexive trigger. So they didn't remove reflexive triggers from the game. They just errated these two cards to not be reflexive triggers. So that's an important point to note.
Yeah, I definitely think, obviously, these cards have been toyed with and how they work overall, and it's kind of them walking it back is an interesting choice. Like you said, Eli, obviously with Dragon's Breath still being
Dragon's Rage.
Dragon's Rage.
Don't speak ill on Lee Sin. Come on now.
Dragon's Rage. Yes. Dragon's Rage being a reflexive trigger obviously opens the door for more reflexive triggers in the future to be printed. So they're obviously not doing away with it, but some interesting things that obviously are happening there. But yeah, like as you said, like the deflect, having to play deflect, I can just think of like Dead Bloom, for example. Like crazy how that, like they just boosted Dead Bloom even higher, and how that's gonna be. So it's just like
can't kill Dead Bloom, can't kill Kiana. I've seen multiple Kaisa players full stack on a Kiana before, and just because you can opt not to pay the deflect with how the reflexive triggers worked once unit was dying, but now you would have to pay the full 6 deflect if Kiana is the only unit on the board. So,
and same with Dead Bloom.
Same with Dead Bloom, exactly.
And
just absolutely absurd nerf to Kai's power level here.
And like someone who's solely going to be playing Aurelia next set, it's great for me. Like, like, and obviously Aurelia usually isn't in the might range of being able to a Kothian Rain, but still being able to put that damage on is kind of uh nuts if you can get her obviously over 12, but still.
The interaction with Zonia's, I think, is a huge deal.
It's true.
I think,
Mhm.
yeah, the interaction
And
with
Guardian's
Zonia's
Angel too,
and
right?
Guardian's Angel, yeah, looking
Same
at
thing.
next set completely. It does the exact same thing, and not being able to snipe them off like you did beforehand is a huge nerf. Now, importantly, it's not
Oh
all
yeah.
nerfs, right? There's at least a couple of benefits to it. Um, because it's not reflexive triggers anymore, you target all at the same time. So your opponent can't say retreat one of the units. If they have one unit on board, they can't retreat that unit and then force you to target your own things because the targeting will have already happened.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So there's like some small niche situations in
It's
which
very
it is
niche.
buffed, but it is overall a large nerf to both of these
Yes.
spells.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever happened to me playing Kaisa that I've had to
Really?
kill
Oh,
my
I've
own
done it
stuff.
to Kaisa so many times. I love that
Yeah.
play.
Well,
It's
then
so
I've lucked
sick.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just float like I put a Victor on the board, right? And they're like, "Well,
Mhm.
man, I got a falling star this." And I'm like, "Excellent. Retreat. You
It's
got a
gone.
falling star your
Should have
stuff
played around it.
instead." Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely interesting. Keep these in mind when you're playing. Obviously, Kaisa's still going to be running around. It's not like I don't think it's going to go away because of this, but I will always have these in the back of their mind. I think it's tough to remember these erratas when they're not printed on the cards because I guarantee you there are so many erratas from like the original errata set that we got, like the start of Origins, that people have forgotten because it's not printed on the card and it's not something that's just
Yeah.
used a lot.
Mhm.
So just remember these. Obviously, two very important ones to remember. So yeah, that was kind of
Can you imagine
the.
if sorry, side note, can you
No, you're
imagine
good.
if they like printed the cards like this? Just deal two, deal two, deal two, deal two, deal two. Just like
Gonna be a
repeatedly.
Yu-Gi-Oh card real quick there.
Yeah.
Like different paragraphs going all the way down the card.
Yeah, I think the way they function now is very like it's more like it's easier to understand like at face value because people it's kind of works how people would have expected it to work. It's more common sense.
Mhm.
And at least from a Kaisa player's perspective, or even if you're playing like Jinx or Annie, or a card that runs Falling Star, now you don't have to explain what reflexive triggers are mid game to someone,
True.
which can take a while when you like,
Yeah.
okay, this goes on the chain, but really it's like two cards that are going on the chain or six separate cards going on the chain. It's just you avoid that conversation, which can be nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll definitely help like the local level play.
Mhm.
Mhm.
For sure. When people are coming in and just learning the game, the reflexive triggers are one of the major things that were off-putting to
Yeah.
people coming in. So
Yeah,
Definitely.
I think as at least newer TCG players, reflexive triggers and then floating resources, I definitely think is something that those newer TCG players were trying to work through, and to be able to get rid of one of those, I think is definitely like you said, David, is going to help just
Yeah.
the experience overall.
by the way, on that point, by the way, get ready for next set. People are floating energy all over the place next set because you could tap your seals and then your seals get downwelled or something. They return to your hand. You still float that power to be able to play your big units. So heads up on that one. It's pretty relevant next
Yep.
set. So get up to snuff if you're not there yet. But
Spoilers.
that's enough. Spoilers. That's enough for this segment here. We're gonna move
Well,
on.
we got more. We got more.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go
We
ahead.
got more. We got more news. This will be quick, but we are going to talk about the Spirit Forge pre-orders. Obviously, there were bots that went along with this. This was an unfortunate experience for a lot of people. Did either of you two try anything here?
Nope.
I did try. Yeah. Keyword is try. I was on there at 11:58. Had multiple pages up. Just trying to see what would get through. Nothing got through. The website was just crashed for the first like 10 minutes of like 12 o'clock to 12:10. Yeah, nothing came through. I eventually got in, got something in my cart. It was then gone. Reloaded, got it back in my cart. It was then gone, not and sold out. So it sounds like it was just a big mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, Teddy, I just didn't even try after Vegas. I
Yeah, I didn't either.
didn't think that the issue was going to be resolved yet, just based on like how timelines for these things tend to go. And so I
Mhm.
didn't even attempt to get it. I just said, "Hey, I'm going to be going to Vegas anyway. I'll just buy my boxes at MSRP in the venue and kind of go about it that way." But a lot of people aren't going to have that option, right? So
Yeah.
trying to do this
Mhm.
pre-order is kind of their only chance to get it, especially if their local stores aren't really running a lot of events, not really getting allocated. So this is a pretty huge blow to the morale of the community. I think I've seen a lot of people expressing pretty poor sentiments about this one.
Yeah, I definitely think it hasn't been the greatest overall start with kind of these I don't know, bidding wars is what you're going to call them, over all this product and these tickets and all that. They have been responsive, which is good. But I don't know. To me, at this point, it kind of feels like a planned reaction with these responses from Riot in a way. Like they're kind of like, oh, this is going to go bad. We need to have something because this is obviously great information, great communication from Dave Gustin, one of the creators of the game, but also still like uh what's the like where are we going to be with this like going in the future. I won't read through it all, but he basically kind of details their bots, and even like I think the biggest thing is they have 50% more product than Origins, which is saying something. They're doing more to print more cards, which is awesome to see.
Mhm.
But it's still obviously had their struggles. So I think it's just a waiting game at this point to see if this can be fixed. If you guys, hey, look, there's our friend Gorka. Yeah, hey, there's you, Eli. But if you guys want to read this, if you just search Dave Tron on Twitter or X, I guess these days, you can read through this. But obviously, great communication. Just kind of going to have to see what's going to happen over the next few weeks, if or next few months probably, just to see how this changes. Any thoughts on this before we move on?
One thing that Dave said in his messages, I'm pretty sure it's somewhere in there, was that they are canceling a lot of the like
Mhm.
fraudulent orders,
Mhm.
and that they're going to kind of reopen it with more safeguards in place to people who actually have, legitimate IDs, who are actually players. Uh, so that's like a small glimmer of hope, in the cloud of all this pre-order mess. Is that hopefully that some players will be able to kind of get into that second attempt at opening up pre-orders.
Yeah, I'm hoping that that works out. To be honest, we did see with Vegas, right? The wait list really did work. A
Hmm.
lot of people got off of the wait list once they like scraped through the bots, refunded all of those orders.
Hmm.
It did work out where people did
Mhm.
get off the wait list. Unfortunately, not everyone was able to get off the wait list, right? Which when you have an event with capacity like that, you're going to run into those issues. Similar to this, right? They did not foresee, and we people could talk semantics all day about whether they should have foreseen that this card game was going to be huge. But the fact is that they did not foresee that the card game was going to be as big as it was. They underprinted the first set, and they already have these sets on printing schedules and ready to go. So it is not as simple behind the scenes, right? As saying, oh, my TCG is incredibly popular. Print product, print product, print product, print product. All of these printers have printing schedules, and all of these printing schedules are being followed by the companies, right, in order to get out the amount of product that they are getting out. So we've seen Riot go outside of their current partners to do things like reprint Proving Grounds that was underprinted dramatically. They've come out and said, hey, Proving Grounds is getting reprinted, but it has to be at a different price point, and it's going to be a different printing of the products. And that's because they're trying to do what they can to get product into people's hands. But with how these schedules work and how all of that timing works, I personally am not foreseeing this issue being really resolved until we get probably to set 3 or set 4, most likely set 4 on my mind.
Yeah, I can agree with that
Hmm.
timeline. I think it's the growing pains of every new TCG. We've seen it as many TCGs have been popping up over the past few years. It's always going to have a slow start, but then at a certain time, they will get to a point where it's a good, stable
Yep.
environment where people can get what they want. But it also is like I was talking about this with my boss at Paradigm yesterday. If they print like we were talking just like allocation numbers for the stores, but it's like if they're able to somehow buy like 100 or 200 boxes all of a sudden, that's also bad for the game. Is if there is too much product, then prices are going to drop. Everyone's going to be able to get everything, and there's not going to be this like hype around opening boxes or anything. These like over numbered are going to be pulled even more and more. The signatures aren't going to be worth as much. So it's just like there's two sides to every coin. Obviously, we don't have as much product as we want, but if they just can printed this to the moon, also wouldn't be good for the game. So I think just people have
So
to
It's a
remember
very
that.
delicate balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And you're completely right on that, Teddy. I was actually going to notate that as well. I thought that one of the positives from the tweet was that Dave gave an exact percentage and said he printed 50% more, right? They
Mhm.
printed 50% more. I think that that is a good estimate on how much they should be printing, and they're going to continue to develop that number based on how Spirit Forge is consumed, right? Because I
Mhm.
think they are aware that a lot of the Bandai games can sometimes struggle with this, where they underprint the first set and then dramatically overprint the second or third set. And once it's been overprinted, prices fall all the way down, which we're already seeing the market shift. We'll talk about that next segment. But prices fall all the way down to the bottom. The cardboard becomes not worth it anymore, and people will leave the game.
Mhm.
Even players will leave the game, right? Because it's like the cards that they had before just dramatically dropped in value. So it is a very delicate balance, to your point, David. And we need to make
Mhm.
sure that that balance is not crossed. So I love that he is giving the exact percentage, and I'm hoping that they'll be able to internally see the numbers and kind of modulate that for the sets moving forward.
Yeah. Well, obviously, lots to continue to look at here and see how it grows. Obviously, as you said, Eli, we may not see a true fix to this. So like mid-year, mid 2026. Probably more later into the second half of the year, in Q3 probably when set 4 does release. Like I said, I like that timeline. But yeah, just something to keep in mind. We're gonna move on to segment 3, all about market and all about our good friend here, David. Eli, you want to take it away?
Right into the next section of this, which is
Sure.
your content has been really focused since September. You've been doing shorts content, which has covered a wide variety of things from ruling questions to the different card rarities to pack openings and stuff like that, like you were talking about. But your channel has really been
Mhm.
focused on the market and how the market has shifted, what's been going on there. I think that's incredibly interesting, knowing that this is now your first physical card game, that you got so
Mm.
into the market side of things, because I know
Yeah.
that some people really are apprehensive about that when they're diving into a physical card game for the first time. So that's super cool that you kind of picked that up as your first thing that you wanted to talk about. So how did you get there? Like what kind
Mhm.
of led up to that being the thing that you really wanted to focus on for at least this first set of Riftbound?
Yeah. So for the market stuff, that kind of originated from like Pokemon collecting. Like a lot of last year, I was kind of getting back into some Pokemon collecting and looking at values of cards and things like that. And the content that I was watching on Pokemon was market stuff and watching shifts and ups and downs of market prices. And I know in Pokemon it's a little different because the collector's market is a lot more that's a lot bigger than the player's market, right? And so prices kind of fluctuate with perceived value for collectors and not for
Mhm.
players. But when it comes to Riftbound, you get a little bit of both. It's interesting because this value of cards goes up and down based not only on collectability but also the playability of cards.
Mhm.
And so when I saw like market shifts coming into Riftbound, I thought, well, this is a good way to keep tabs not only on collectability within the game but also on playability. You get shifts, like a card will go up in price because all of a sudden like some deck did really well at a tournament and all of a sudden people realize it's actually much more powerful than they thought it was originally, and so the price will go up. And
Mhm.
so I guess all this to say is like the market is often a really good indicator, at least for this game, of like meta viability, and it's a great way to follow the current meta of the game. And so that's part of the reason why I'm really interested in the market and following it along, is just keeping a finger on the pulse of what's good in the game and what's being played.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a really cool reason to be into it because for me personally, like coming from Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Yu-Gi-Oh also functions like that to an extent. So there's a collector's market, but it's usually older collectible stuff. It's not really any of the new
Mhm.
stuff is collectible in any capacity, and so the new market is players, and the old market is collectors, and rarely do they interact with one another. But in Yu-Gi-Oh, no cards get banned. I'm sorry, no cards get rotated ever. So
I was like, pretty sure
cards get banned all the time.
endless for
Uh,
Yu-Gi-Oh's pretty big.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
cards don't get rotated ever. So a random card
Oh
that was
yeah.
trash forever, that had no viability, no playability at all, sometimes will just go up by $60 when a new archetype comes out and people discover something broken with it,
Mm.
right? So holding on to bulk in Yu-Gi-Oh is always really impactful because it could just have those huge shifts. I think we've seen something similar in the Riftbound market in that these huge shifts are happening, but because there's so much hype around the game, when new things are discovered, the prices are varying like heavily up and down, just
There's a
depending
lot
on.
of volatility.
Yeah,
Yes.
volatility is a great word for it. Exactly, the volatility is just there. But we already saw it. We saw that with the set one cards, right? We might see it with set two cards too, but hopefully the printing 50% more product will help curb that a little bit
Fingers
at
crossed.
least. Hopefully, maybe we'll have to see.
Absolutely.
But something that we noticed with set one that was causing these spikes is like the buyout culture, right? That was around
Mhm.
once a card spiked, it was off TCG player immediately. People were picking up all
Yep.
of the copies, and it was just increasing the price, and then the price would drop back down a couple days later, continue to like just gradually fall down as people
Mhm.
were relisting that product. So with that buyout
Yep.
culture that was occurring, do you see that continuing in set two, or is that more of like you think it's gonna chill out, be the set one problem, or is it just gonna ride the wave all the way through?
Yeah, ride the wind.
Exactly.
It's very hard to say. I think that that buyout culture is kind of something that that definitely exists in Pokemon. From the very limited that experience that I have in the Pokemon collecting culture, um, it'll probably continue, to be honest, into set two and probably into set three as well. It remains to be seen whether the amount of product can meet demand, right? Because I think that when a product like this has such high demand and such a low supply, that buyout is so much more attractive to people who want to make money off the game, right? Like
Mhm.
scalpers are going to be way more likely to go in and just like follow a card and see that a card, we saw just a couple days ago, Seal of Discord just shot straight up
Right.
because of the one deck in Bologna that just stomped everything else, right? So
As
I
of
think
recording,
that
$45, by the way.
ridiculous, yeah. Which was like what was it, like $20 a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, right.
Really low. So I think, unfortunately, the buyout culture will probably continue into the next couple of sets as Riot figures out how to balance the supply and demand curve that they're working with. Um, but yeah, my hope is that it eventually settles down and we don't have as much of that.
Yeah. Luckily, we've seen like toward the end of this set one meta, we've settled down a little bit. I know Teddy, you've been picking up some cards
Mhm.
recently that you weren't picking up before because they were just a little bit too
Yeah.
expensive, and they've now kind of leveled out to the point where it's like, okay, I can justify this purchase now. And I think a lot of people are kind of in that
Mhm.
spot with set one where it's glad that it's come down a little bit. But I am also nervous, David, that it's going to continue the
Mhm.
way that it has, especially because, like me personally, I've been doing a lot of set two testing with some testing groups, and I know that there's some cards from set one that are going to spike in set two, just
Yep.
based off of the testing we've done, what we're going to see from these regionals. And when you have that little bit of extra knowledge on it, you then start to just naturally pick those cards up when you're trading. If it's
Yep.
it's 50 cents over,
You're
give
like,
me
I'm
this
gonna
50
hand these
cent
off,
card.
exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Yep.
that creates like kind of an environment where it's like, man, I feel bad trading for this card because I know it's going to spike. And so oftentimes, me
Right.
personally, I'll just tell people, hey, this card's going to go up, hold on to it. Um,
Yeah.
but it's
You have
kind
some
of difficult
integrity
to
there,
navigate.
which I appreciate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we actually talked about this last week, where integrity is
Mhm.
really important to
Mhm.
have
Yeah.
in card games, especially when it
It
comes
is.
to trading and doing stuff like that, especially when people are new to card games. But
Mhm.
got to protect yourself. Not everyone's going to do that. The market is
Yep.
volatile, which is what we were just talking
It
about.
is.
This is-
Now, we do have a question for you. And Teddy, I
Yep.
know you're listening very closely to this one with your wallet open and ready.
Oh,
Any tips for our viewers? What do you think one card that is the pickup going into set two? Currently low, gonna spike up. What
The
is
single
the
pickup.
card?
Um, so just from the way that I've been looking at the market, and it sounds like you have a lot of insights too with your set two testing. But just from my perspective of seeing where prices are right now, I'll give you two. I
Ooh.
see Thousand Tailed Watcher, and I see Dead Bloom or Dead Bloom. Well, Dead Bloom is low, but White Flame Protector. Both
Mm.
of those cards are at all time lows. They've never been lower than they are now. I think they're both. I think Thousand Tailed Watcher is like 22, maybe 23, and White Flame Protector is 25,
Mhm.
which Protector was a $60 card. I bought a copy of that card at $60 and now it's 25. I don't regret it because I played it a lot and so I got my
Mhm.
money's worth out of it in my mind. But those two cards are very strong cards and I feel like they have effects that will continue to last in future sets. I mean, we saw that Thousand Tailed Watcher was the most expensive rare card by a mile in this first set. I think the next most expensive was Zanya's Hourglass at like 12 when
Mhm.
Watcher was at 35.
Yeah, for a
And
while.
so Watcher is just the kind of card that probably, it could have been an epic card with the power level of its effect.
Arguably should have been,
but it's only a rare, and so it's easier to pull. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So I think that I think those two cards are great pickups if you don't have copies already. They're pretty low right now, and I think they kind of will maintain their power level moving forward.
Yeah, just hearing All Time Low that's now the song that's playing in my head. So thanks for that.
Yep.
So
I did that on a thumbnail recently, and I just heard that in my head the whole time.
I'd hum it, but we'd get copyrighted.
That's
so
true.
I can't even hum it. Like we gotta be careful.
Thank you obviously for your insight on the market. It's really cool to kind of see this side because I think it's a side of trading card games that most people don't really know that much about. I guess like the average viewer may not know much about, so it's really cool to kind of see. You can really like there's always this thing is like, is TCGs a hobby or is it a business? Like even for just a regular person is like you can like obviously TCGs they make money and like even if you don't have like a full brick and mortar store, you can still have a TCG player store where you sell cards. And that's something I did back in my Lorcana days. It was like that game early on, especially and Eli, this was so volatile with prices and like they were so high and like you can make some money. So it's always it's a fun game you get to play with that. But yeah,
I will say importantly on that note though, making a small amount of profit on a game as an individual person that is just speculating on cards and making your money that way on TCG Player is totally fine. I disapprove of scalping in its entirety.
Yes.
And that is a fine line that you have to cross, right? Of like people going in and buying 8 boxes of Proving Grounds and sitting on 8 boxes of Proving Grounds with that kind of shortage. That's not something that I morally can condone just personally, right? But if someone's buying cards or trading for cards from people and using that to make profit on TCG Player, I'm fine with that. That's what your brick and mortar stores do that you're going to anyway. And unfortunately, we've seen some of those stores kind of lend toward this scalping side of things, but you have to understand a lot when you're coming from a brick and mortar perspective. They have rent, they have utilities, they have a lot more stuff that goes into it. So you have to kind of respect the fact that sometimes selling it for slightly over market is not going to be the worst, or slightly over MSRP is not going to be the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
If they're not charging the exorbitant scalping prices that we have been able to see for this game. But I just wanted to point out, it is different. Your buddy running a TCG Player store versus somebody who has cleared out 8 targets worth of products and is sitting on all of this product to sell. That is different experience.
Yeah. Always don't be the Pokemon scalpers is my motto these days. Don't be Pokemon scalpers. But that's a discussion.
One Piece now, actually. You see Logan Paul's most recent video.
I've heard One Piece got hit too.
It's One Piece now.
There was someone I saw on Twitter. There was like this One Piece thing, had like 20 boxes of this, and it was a meme, obviously. Like it had been a picture that had been taken from multiple different places, and it said like, I bought all these boxes at Target, so now I can sell them to my local community at MSRP. And I was just like, no, it's not. Like everyone knew it was a joke, but still, definitely interesting to see that come about. But our final segment is going to be something that we think is really cool, and we're going to be able to implement over a long period of time. You might be asking, why do we have a dice on screen? Well, let's explain. So we are going to be doing a set 2 meta legend pick'em. If anyone here is a sports person, has done fantasy football, what we are going to do is we're going to take turns drafting legends from set 1 and set 2. So we're going to have access to both and basically just create a roster of legends that we think are going to be the best. So what we're going to do with this dice here is we're each going to pick a number. Whoever's the closest to the number gets to go first, second gets to go second, and then whoever is farthest away gets to go third. So, Eli, what is your number of choosing?
I gotta go with 7.
Dang it, I
always gotta go with 7.
I was gonna tell you like it's the episode number.
Oh, well, that's funny. I chose it. It's my old basketball number. Played basketball for 14 years. Always number 7.
Nice.
David, how about you?
I think I'll go with 11 just to follow up your 7.
All right. Okay.
All right, well, enough. I will take 12 and basically take anything above that.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. We got gamed a little bit
differently
there.
about that.
we got gamed. Yep. I won't lie.
Right.
My guy knows the theory.
If it's a low number, then I'm screwed. But here we go. 5.
Hey, baby, let's go. First pick.
Eli will pick first. David will pick second. I will pick third. We have our handy dandy tier list, but it's not a tier list. We're not doing that. We are just we're obviously ignoring the over numbers here, but we have all of the legends here. We have 28. So we are going to be giving, what do we decide beforehand? So David, you're the middle. You get the last one. You get an extra
I get
one.
Garen.
Yes, you get Garen
Correct.
at the very end if he's there. But Eli,
if Garen's there, I think there's a
It's
weaker
true.
legend than Garen.
If Garen's
next
there,
set. We'll
he
see.
might not
be.
We'll see.
But Eli, it is all you. First pick. Who are you going to take?
Absolutely. With the first pick in this draft, I'm going to draft the one champion that will have the highest amount of results. And speaking of which, the results we're going by 128 players or more tournaments, top 8 finishes. If you get an extra point if they win the tournament, I'm going to be choosing Ezreal with my very first pick of the
Where is
draft.
he?
Mm-hmm.
To Eli. David?
Which was surprising to me when I heard him talk about this, but I can see it now. I can see it now. My pick is going to be Draven.
I think that's a pretty
which I
solid
believe
pick.
will still be
Yeah.
strong, which is still a very good pick.
So
I'll give you that
obviously,
one.
how these drafts work is because I get to go third, I get to take 2 picks, and then David will take 1, and Eli will get 2 after that. So we're sneaking back and forth. I am going to go with Victor, and I'm going to go with, where is she? Aurelia. I'm going to go with my 2 homeboys.
All right.
I think these are going to be good. I think we're going to see these. Obviously, we've seen them do some good stuff, and I think they're still going to get results over here. So, David, back to you. Oh, I guess I
played. By the way,
Yeah.
I played 3.5 games of Victor. Never again will I play that control deck. Holy crap! My God. All right, continue, David. My fault.
No, you're fine. Okay, so I get 1 pick here. I think I have to go very generic and say Kai'Sa's still going to be good next set.
Yeah.
I agree.
Even with the nerfs to reflexive triggers, or I guess taking those off of the cards, she still looks incredibly strong, especially with the new Spirit Forge cards coming out for her.
Yeah, I agree with that one. I think that's a great pick from you. So I get 2 picks here, huh?
You.
So there's a couple champions I'm looking at here, but we're getting kind of down into the nitty gritty. I think I am going to take Misfortune, and I am going to take. I think there's a couple options here, but I think Sivir is going to be my next pick.
I wanted Sivir.
Yep, I think Sivir is
Sivir.
majorly underrated. We just saw a tournament out of China where Sivir had the highest conversion rate, top 8 or top 16 of any deck in the field. So I think Sivir might be on the up and up. So
that color combo is so good.
It's
I'm
phenomenal.
so
Punch first in
Amazing.
colors where you draw the punch first every game.
Yep.
Pretty good.
Yep. Push effects in colors where you have strengthening as well.
Really good.
Oh,
I've
man.
been speculating on Sivir since the set got announced. That's one of my.
So you just kind of
absolutely.
monopolized the orange purple, which is kind of sad
that was
for
the
me.
goal.
Okay. The way this works, I'm never getting a double pick, am I?
No.
You are not. That's why you get the last one. That's why.
Darn.
Honestly, I think every 3rd round you should get a double pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gonna do that way?
Make it more fair so that you get a double pick every 3rd round.
Yeah.
So
How would that
then,
work?
It would just be me and Teddy would roll off to see who picks the round that you get the double pick.
Okay.
If that
Sounds
makes
good.
sense.
So right here, I'm picking 1 though. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Next round you'll.
Next round you'd be picking 2.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna look at these, and I think we're gonna run with something different and say Set.
Set.
I think
Nice.
Set is incredibly strong. There's some buff stuff coming out next set that looks good. No pun intended.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think Set is actually in a pretty okay spot. That dragon is sick. You see the list with that dragon that buffs 4 things? That card's great.
Rally the troops.
Rally the
Buff
troops.
Buff
great
everything
card.
you play this turn.
Yep. Good cantrip as well. Draws a card.
Absolutely.
All right. So I guess because we're gonna Eli and I roll off next round to see who
Correct.
gets to pick and who doesn't get to pick. I'm gonna go with Annie as my pick for this round. I think that's a pretty safe bet. Again,
yeah.
I think purple is still going to be incredibly good. I think obviously we can see with what we've taken so far, most of the good purple decks have been taken so far. So Eli, do you want the first or second roll?
Let's just go below 10, above 10.
Do you want below 10 or above 10?
I'll take it below 10.
Okay. Did it work? There we go. Oh,
So 10 and below. right?
10 and
And then
below.
11 and up. Or no,
Yeah.
that doesn't work. Does that work?
Yeah, that
Reroll.
works.
That works?
Reroll.
Okay. No, because I have 10 and then you have 10. No, that works. So I got this one. Cool.
Yes. So it'll go David twice, and then Eli
Me
twice.
and then you. Yeah.
And then it'll go Eli twice again, and then because you still get your double pick, and then
Correct.
it's David and then me. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. So is this is my pick right now?
This is
Yes,
your
you get
double
2.
pick.
My double pick. Okay. For my first double pick, we're gonna look at Fiora
Fiora.
and
Okay.
take both the orange yellows.
Yep, definitely.
Well, 2 of the 3 actually. There is one more.
Monopolizing a bit of it.
There is one more. And then I think I'm gonna jump on to the Teemo train. I think
The
Teemo's still
Teemo
good.
train.
Yeah.
Oh man, Gorica.
Our friend Gorica.
Gorica.
Yeah.
Getting on the Teemo train early here. Huh.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Probably not as good as Ezreal, but I don't know. Does some different things, so you never know.
Yeah,
Let's do some
definitely.
different
I'm down
things.
for it. So I get a double pick then. So for my double pick, there's definitely some options still chilling up here. I'm gonna take Azir. I'm gonna take my boy Azir.
Good pick.
Yep, I just got second in a tournament online, Silent Knights tournament. Shout out Silent Night with Azir. I think this champion's pretty strong. Could be interesting. Definitely has a lot of counters in the meta, but should be a good deck. And then I think, oh, this is a hard last pick here. There's some heat still on the board. I'm going to take Lux.
Good choice.
Nice.
I like it.
I think Lux could definitely be a sleeper for next set.
You play Lux right now, so
I do. I
you
do play
would know.
Lux right now. I think the color combination next set is pretty good for Lux.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
All right, David gets 1.
Nice. Okay, well, I'll take your word for it and take Renata, which I know is controversial because Renata's seen as just worse Victor and probably worse Lux. But you never know. I think her effect is the kind of effect where, and also the units that she comes with and her signature spell are the kind of things where it's like if someone cooks up the right deck and is able to make the combination work, I think it'll go kind of crazy.
I mean, like 5 or 6 points on one turn is freaking insane.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good, turns out.
With that, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so I get my double pick now. We're getting down into like what's actually gonna be good. I think I'm gonna go Yasuo. I still think even though Aurelia is going to be seen as the better green purple, I still think Yasuo has a chance to do well. And then I'm gonna go with Jax. I think that you can have some fun with equipment there, and I think there's some really good equipment coming in set 2. I'm gonna run with my boy Jax. So.
All right. Okay. Interesting. So now I'd go back to you, Chai, and then me.
Back to me. Okay.
Yeah.
Man, Rek'Sai's still on the board.
I know there is still some heat there.
There's some heat for sure. Let's go with Yi.
Yeah.
I think Yi is still meta relevant, and the changes to Falling Star and Cathy Rain make Zanya's better. And he does get punch first, and some interesting equipments that if they work in Yi, they're gonna work in Yi. So
yeah, perfect. And then Teddy, I think it's you, and then it's my double pick, right?
No, it's you, and then we go into the next round, which is David's double pick. So do we want to call it even? And you get.
Well, we're gonna be behind 1 if we do it that way. That's what I
Oh.
think. Yeah. I think we just both double pick and then go into David's double pick rounds.
That sounds good.
So yeah, it's you two. It's you now, Eli, and then it's David.
Okay. You're totally right about Rek'Sai still being on the board. I think that could be interesting. There's some other stuff that I also think is going to be pretty good, though.
Yeah, I'm eyeing something that I hope you guys don't take.
Yeah. I'm going to grab Lucian.
Yep.
Okay.
Think that Lucian definitely, it's a good aggro deck. It has the capability to really push advantage, and if the meta slows down at all, it can kind of pop off. So I'll take the Lucian for sure, and then I'm going to grab Leona. I think that Leona is very uniquely good into Draven, and we might see some anti-meta Leonas sneak through there. So I'll see how that goes.
Oh yeah.
David, you get one here.
Here I get one. Oh boy. It's between two for me. I think I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna take Rumble.
Yeah, it's
That's
good.
what I
Pick.
was gonna take.
Yep, great pick.
Rumble seems fun.
Yeah.
Rumble seems good too. I think
Right.
Rumble's probably gonna be the star at some of these pre-releases. The pre-release kit for Rumble looks pretty
100%.
solid.
Yes.
100%.
The Irelia pre-release kit looks not great, and I'm sad about that because I wanted to play Irelia, but it's just not. I mean, if you pull the green one, then yes, it's good. But
It all depends on what's in your pack.
it's true. All right, so I get two here, and then it'll be David's double pick. So Eli, you'll get one after if you want to call it even because you won the roll earlier.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So I think for my first pick, I have to take Rek'Sai. I think that is still going to be good, and I think I'm going to go with Darius.
Shout out TCG. Oh, Darius is my
TCG.
pick. That's good.
It's a really good pick.
I think both the red yellow decks late is gonna. I think those decks obviously are all about doing some big stuff. I think Rek'Sai is just so fun. Like you said, TCG in the Indianapolis group, he plays that deck religiously. So really cool. I think the Rek'Sai leader or the Rek'Sai pre-rift deck is actually gonna be pretty fun. If you can get some big boys in that deck. But yeah, David is back to you with a double pick.
Here's my double. Okay.
Is that? I think that works, right?
Does it still work?
Because Rumble's ahead by. That's what I'm saying. There's
I'm
one
ahead
pick
by
ahead.
one.
I think we both pick, and then the double pick comes through.
So
Right.
because
Right.
he's at a, so he needs technically. There's 1, 2,
Because there's
there's
going to be
6
one
left.
leftover.
So yeah,
I'm gonna take the leftover, so I just take one, right?
Yeah, you just take. I mean, we just go back to one now.
Or do you guys pick first?
I think we just go back to one for the rest of the time because you're going to have the leftover pick.
Okay.
From being in the
Cool.
middle.
Cool. Sounds right. Okay. We'll take Ornn. Ornn looks fun. Gear Kaisa.
Yeah.
Yep.
Prismaticism playing Ornn, a couple of good players playing Ornn. So I think that's a pretty safe pick.
Nice.
So then Eli gets 2 and I get 2, and then.
Okay, and then we go back to ones. Let's see.
And I get whatever's left.
Well, yeah, you pick 2, Eli, then I pick 2, and then he gets.
Got it.
Or I guess no, because of how this works. Eli, you pick 2, David picks 1, I pick 1, and then David gets the last one. That's how it's going to work.
Yeah. So in that
Wouldn't I be ahead of you guys then?
Oh,
you're going to be ahead of us by. That's what I'm
a-
saying. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So then we both pick 2.
Correct.
We both pick 2, and then.
So I'm going to pick. Oh, gosh. I'll take Volibear.
Okay.
No.
Yep.
I wanted Volibear.
I think Volibear could be pretty interesting. And then I'm going to go for. Gosh. For me, it's between Jinx and Lee Sin. I got to take Jinx. Jinx is a purple deck.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jinx could definitely have some viability. A lot of people love Jinx too, so it might be a lot of people competing for that best of, especially since it got ported over to China too. They're doing the best of cards now in China.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
That got announced today. So pretty interesting to see what they're gonna do, because that could shake up the Chinese meta, because they didn't have the best ofs before, and it was like 65% Draven meta share.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
All right, so I get to leave David with something.
Yeah.
Will the prediction come true? Will Garen be the last one to go?
It is going to come true. I'm going to give Garen to David.
I'll take him.
Okay.
I'll take my boy.
I'm kind of liking this spread though.
Yes, I am going to Windows.
Yeah, hot screenshot that. For a reminder for those following along at home, we're judging this based on 128 player tournaments and higher. If you get a top 8, you get 1 point. If you get a top 1 win the tournament, you get 2 points. And we're gonna calculate it all at the end of Spirit Forge and see who came out ahead on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna have I'm gonna make a Google Sheets and then keep track of it. We can keep track of it. I'm not gonna put everything in order though, because I think it'll be cool, David, when we have you back on towards the end of Spirit Forge, we can kind of tally it up in person. So I think that'll be cool. But yeah,
that'd be sweet.
That is about it for episode 7. David, again, we are super appreciative of you coming on and joining us. Obviously, always great to have guests. We're obviously going to have you back in the future. But yeah, where can people find you on YouTube? Obviously, ChaiTCG, but other places as well.
Right now it's just YouTube.
There
Yeah,
you
I
go.
don't have a lot of social handles. Just trying to make the YouTube thing work and be all in on that channel. So yeah, you can find me at Chai_TCG on YouTube.
There you
Awesome.
go.
Real quick question for that as well. I know you said you're shifting your content a little bit, moving into Spirit Forged. What
Mhm.
can we expect for you? What are we looking like moving forward in the future for what your content will be?
Yeah, so I'm definitely moving into POV gameplay footage. That's something that
Amazing.
I love doing. And so I've recorded a few games already, and I have videos coming out on those. So viewers of your podcast can stay tuned and look for those to come out. I think for me, just like there's something about seeing like the physical game being played that's so different from seeing it online. You know, as a lot of people are
Definitely.
doing their content. So that's a lot more fun for me to watch, and I hope other people will find that fun to watch too. And then I'm trying to do Spirit Forged evaluations, so like tier lists of cards, deck breakdowns. I think my shorts content is going to slowly move towards doing like deck archetypes
Definitely.
and videos about certain decks that are coming out. So yeah, stay tuned for all that.
Yep, very, very cool. Go and watch new Jinx one trick video just posted on the Chai TCG channel yesterday. As of recording this video, will be a couple
Mhm.
days by the
2
time
days
that it
ago.
gets posted.
As
Yeah,
oh yes, you're
2
true.
days.
Very true.
Yeah,
2
yeah. We'll
days.
And if
be a
that's
couple
true, you
days.
can watch the gameplay from that game that I played against him as well, because that
There you
video's
go.
coming
So
out.
that'll be up on the channel. Awesome, awesome. Teddy and I will have to play you at some point and get into some
Yes.
gameplay videos.
100%,
Yeah, very
100%.
excited for that. But yeah, you can find me at Battle Tested on every social platform. I switched my Discord to that as well to make it easier. So anybody at Battle Tested TCG, you will find me. YouTube, wherever it's going to be, should be posting up some YouTube content here shortly. I know Teddy, you're planning on doing that as well. Where can they find you?
You can find me at Limited Teddy everywhere pretty much. If you just look up that, you should be able to find me. I'm gonna have some limited content coming out for now that we have all of like the 15 card pre-con decks for the pre-riff decks that I'm gonna kind of rank those, kind of go through what you should be looking for in all of those. But yeah, that was episode 7. We again, David, say thank you for joining us. We say thank you to everyone who listened. We really appreciate the support. We've seen those numbers kind of keep going up and up. So yeah, we're really excited to keep growing this podcast. We see you guys next week for episode 8.
See you guys.